right, man. Let's talk about my concerns for the Lions heading into the season. Mostly, I mean, I think it lies in the coordinators right now, and it aligns at the defensive end, the defensive line position, uh, offensive line, uh, and injuries. I mean, that's what the line is. We talk about the coordinators. I mean, a lot of people seem to be more at peace with Calvin Shepard at coordinator because you hadn't heard a lot of bad about what they're doing. They're doing good versus the Lions offense. Obviously, they're going through a transition. Did good versus the Texans. You know, Nico Collins has some success here and there. I think Terrion and them was out, though. Has some success, you know, versus the Lions offense. And according to Derek Barnes, is Calvin Shepard is going to be a little bit more aggressive than Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn felt like he had to be aggressive because when he did be aggressive, he was aggressive was because of the injury. So, you know, you hear he's going to be more aggressive. I know it seemed like there's a template that Dan Campbell is he's following when it comes to his coordinators. Defensively, he wants a man-to-man base coordinator, and that becomes an issue when you play a mobile quarterback because your backs are turned to him. So that's the bad side. So that's why a lot of teams tend to play a little bit more combination coverage or zone. Second, for the offensive coordinator spot, he tends to like explosive plays and creative offensive coordinators. So, but defensively, I mean, they're stacked at linebacker, they're stacked at cornerback, they're a little thin at safety. I feel like they could have got a Marcus Williams, a Justin Simmons. I don't know who he pissed off in the league. Pro Bowl caliber safety. There was some spots that they can fill, but for the most part, you know, I like Rock at safety, and they brought some other guys in at safety, but it just seems like I just think they can get a little bit more depth at safety. Cornerback, the depth is good. Maddox, Amik, obviously Terrion, DJ Reader. I want to say it was somebody else too. And Rock can play corner as well too. Brian Branch can play nickel. So defensively, it's going to be interesting. Defenses are usually head offenses early in the season. So it's going to be interesting. The offensive side of the ball, the coordinator. My only real issue is, you know, the time it's going to take to have that continuity, but is he going to run the football? And I think that's where they got in trouble with Washington last year. They didn't run the football. A passing game coordinator, been a coordinator with the Jets for a minute. It's Ace Boone Coon. You know, David Shaw is a passing game coordinator. My thing is this: they need to run the football. The Lions need to run that football more than anything. And I know they want to get the ball to the backs in space and throw it to the back. I get it. I get it more than anybody. But in my opinion, they need to run that football often and early. But they're going to do some creative things. They're looking for like 10 to 13 explosive plays a game. And I just think that he might be a little bit trigger happy passing the ball wise. So we'll see. We'll see, you know, how creative he is. Obviously, he was a guy that was in demand. I'll do a video on that. But then, you know, you start talking about the defensive line. Eventually, Aleem Neal, who I seen at I think it was the Tiger game, he looks in phenomenal shape. That tends to happen, you know, in physical therapy. Obviously, a guy that size, you want to watch his weight, his discipline, but he looks strong. And usually that repaired leg end up being stronger than the opposite leg. So then it creates an imbalance too. So when one part of your leg is weak or one part of your body, let's just use the leg, like you might have an issue or whatever, where you favor one, then it tends to weaken other muscles on that leg and, you know, and the other side of the body that you're not, you know, you tend to kind of lean on it a little bit more. So lot of times in physical therapy, you just don't want to work on that weak leg. You want to kind of keep that strong leg active too, you know. So, but he looks pretty good. I mean, Tyleik Williams, Roy Lopez, Makai Wingo, DJ Reader, they got pretty good depth. You'll see Reader. I mean, you'll see Makai Wingo play in. You'll see Derek Barnes come in and play in. But for the most part, Apam Lies, Josh Pascal being injured. Marcus Davenport will get injured. Aiden Hutchinson coming off injury. Um, okay, so you're just a little thin at that end position. That becomes a problem. That becomes a problem. So even when Pascal come back, he ain't no. He is a good run stopper. So they still ain't. Nobody picked up Zadarius Smith. You know, nobody picked up Clowney. I mean, that's my biggest concern is that the lack of depth they have at the defensive end position. Like, they just don't have a lot there, and they just refusing to put anything there. But eventually we'll see what happens. But I think that's going to be the downfall of the Detroit Lions this year. If anything, it's going to be that defense. It's going to be the defensive end. They just don't have a lot there, and you got two guys coming off injury. It's like, and you known to be an injury-prone team. You draft injury-prone players. I mean, we'll see. But there's not a lot of attrition back there. I like Abdul Kawhi Muhammad? I like him a lot. I don't know the other guy they got. They got the other kid they got back there from like Jacksonville or some shit like that. The other kid they got from Jacksonville or some shit like that, and he's playing there. But I mean, I don't know why he being cheap at this, but who knows? Offensive line, that's another thing. In the interior, the thing that's crazy about the interior is because two things. I said they need to run the football, right? They need to run it. And outside of running the football, in the middle of the offensive line and that defense, the quickest way to get to the quarterback. So if they can't protect, Jared Goff, and they start collapsing in the middle of the offensive line, it's going to be a long season. So they got to keep that pocket clean for Goff in the middle of the offensive line. And that's why I said they need to run the football. That running football is like getting a layup. When I was growing up, we had a layup line, and you lucky if you got before the game to take a couple jumpers outside of a free throw. So that's a layup for you big fellas. That's a layup. Being able to roll great early, run the ball, push people around, and especially versus Green Bay. One, they need to enforce their will. Mahogany's a good run blocker. Tay Radlich's a really good run blocker. You know what I'm saying? They need to really, put belt to ass. And then, but yeah, the offensive line, it's gonna be some camaraderie issues there. It just takes a little bit of time there, man. But pretty much in injuries. I mean, obviously staying healthy. They think it was an anomaly. I don't think it's an anomaly. Since he got here, a lot of the guys that he picked got injured. Tyrell Williams went down. Don't forget, Goff went down year one. Don't forget, also Trinity Benson came in, went down. I mean, everybody that he's picking, Antoine Green, happy retirement to him. He had to retire because of his back issue. Everything that he touched, but Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike. I mean, damn near. I think they said he took what's the brother's name from Miami? That went to Miami. I just said his name, F.A. Melifanu. I mean, everything he touching is just getting injured. It's been like that when he got here. The second year they would have made the playoffs, but they had a bunch of injuries. DJ Shark, it was a bunch of guys that went down. Just in that Minnesota game alone, they came back and lost. Minnesota came back and beat us. So that's just been what it's been since Brad Holmes been here. They've been dropping like flies, and hopefully that changes this year. But honestly, that kid from the LSU was already on the injured list. The kid from Boise State already on the injured list. So you got two guys in your draft picks already on the injured list. So that lets you know which direction they're going in. But check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Peace.